What is going on, everybody? So Ben Armstrong just issued a video and we're going to talk about that right now. For anybody who's new here who hasn't known before, I was partnered with BenCoin. I was, I think, in some way, friends or friendly with Ben, maybe more Cassie than Ben. For months, I shilled, talked about, went crazy about BenCoin. I took everybody at their word when I was told that Ben would retire if at the end of 2025, BenCoin was not in the top 100, etc., etc. Now, do I think that that's going... Now, obviously, that's not going to be the case. Okay, let's start there. BenCoin has rugged. I have a gentleman that came to me to give me the information and the data to say that Ben rugged it himself along with the developer. I don't remember his name. It escapes me. If it's important, we'll come up with it a little bit later. But the point to that is that I had somebody who came out and told me that he had firsthand knowledge that Ben had pulled the liquidity. It was not hacked, that this was in conjunction with the person who created it, that it was not somebody who worked for them. It was not somebody who was doing work or anything like that, that they had literally just pulled the liquidity. And, you know, from that point, Ben didn't talk about it anymore. Okay. Now, in the meantime, let me back up a couple months. In late 2023, I was vice president of a company, and that company closed without notice. I knew that it was going to close at some point, but this was my opportunity to get into crypto full time. I was already making plenty of money in crypto. I was already, look, I got crypto. I'm fine, you know? So that day I lost my job. 3 days later, I got hacked. All I had was 3 wallets, 2 with barely anything in it, and 1 wallet with almost everything. And that was the wallet that got hacked. And it got hacked because I took a promotional thing from somebody and they scammed me, and they wanted to meet, whatever reason, you know, they stole everything. The company that stepped up to me right away when that happened was Ben and Cassie, and they brought me on as a team member. I think it was just head of media entertainment or something like that. And I made daily videos of BenCoin talking about what is or was going to happen in the future, on and on. In the meantime, Ben was, I mean, it's safe to say, spiraling out of control because he was not getting his company back. There was a lot going on underneath. So flash forward a couple of months and I started making videos, and those videos were videos about what was going on with Ben and how all of these court proceedings had been going. So I'm out here fighting the good fight, in my opinion, for Ben because I believed in Ben Armstrong. Not that I think that he's a pillar or the best person in the world or anything like that, but I do believe that TJ Shed and Nick DeMondi and DZ Nuts or whatever his name is, I don't know what his fucking name is, but these are a bunch of scam artists and scumbags, okay? Now, that's my opinion, okay? When I peel back those layers, let me rephrase. TJ's a scumbag. Nick DeMondi, I don't even care about him to begin with. The dude just looks like a Civil War reenactor. Like, I don't give a shit about him. Okay. D's Nuts, DZ, whatever his name is. DZ probably just needs a job and just saw an opportunity. You know, like Ashton Kutcher when Charlie Sheen got fired. You know what I mean? Like, just he was just assuming the role that he was already looking for. Okay, so just go with me on this. Now, that led me to do a couple of things. First of all was these videos right here where I relayed you the testimony of both Ben and TJ, and they admitted, not Ben, but TJ admitted he was lying about it. His father, Timothy, admitted that it was Ben's Lamborghini. Ben had given me some audio, which some of the audio it might be released by now, showing that Carlos, the cable guy, or whatever that idiot's name was as well. And by the way, I don't give a shit. If you were standing right here, I'd still call you an idiot because you do idiot stuff. And you stalked my page at one point. So be about it. Don't act like you're about it. TJ, to me, ultimately, scumbag. Carlos is trying to... Look, I think Carlos is just trying to scam money out of everybody. I'm not sure what his deal was, but, just seemed like that was happening, okay? Now, I gave you all of the breakdowns on what was happening. And then in the meantime, Ben calls me one day because it's they were paying me at a certain period of time and it was time for payment and I didn't receive payment, which I normally do. Normally in my business, I know that means that they are moving on. So I left a message and then Ben calls me back and we have a 30-minute conversation. And that 30-minute conversation was basically Ben telling me, hey man, stop putting your face on your thumbnails. Nobody cares about your face. Start making your thumbnails a little bit better. By the way, this is wise information, to be fair, okay? And then for a while, I just stopped putting my face on all of my videos, and it's a good idea. Like, I'm not, he was coming to me with an idea, and the place that he got this idea was Altcoin Daily. Altcoin Daily, as you guys know, 1.5 million subscribers. They are, a litmus test of, some of the most important content that you can possibly have. This video, 2.5 million views. This video, 371,000, 55,000, 22,000. Like, these guys make good videos that, not everything is great. They don't get a lot of, unless they're talking about something specific, but they do have a good base of people, okay? He got it from Altcoin Daily. He said, nobody cares about who you are. Nobody, blah, 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 blah. They told that to Ben a long time ago. He did that. And then Ben encouraged me to do the same thing. But then we get to the end of the conversation and he's like, so we're not continuing the partnership, but I want to help you in any way that I can. Okay. Now, just for clarity here, that's about the last time I talked to Ben. Okay. That goes back probably, I haven't spoken with Ben 9 months or so, other than by text message. And by text message, I've had multiple conversations. At this point, if I want to look at it, okay, if I really want to look at it, okay, I've had conversations with myself way more than I've had conversations with Ben. Okay, Ben is not a great friend, but I'm not a great friend either. So, it's not really that's not the important point. The point is, Ben didn't trust me to be in that inner circle of people. So I'm on the outside kind of looking in, and then I sell my Ben coin because I need the money, like I don't, it just keeps going down, 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 down. And they don't seem to have a plan. And part of the conversation that I was having with Ben was that it was going to take a while before the next thing that they did or whatever was going to be the case. So I sold my Ben coin and I got out. Now, just to be fair here, I was paid in Ben coin every month. I lost a lot of money on Ben coin by holding. Okay. However, early on, I made a bunch of money off of Ben coin by holding and, selling the top or close to the top. So I'm not mad or wasn't mad about it or anything like that, but there was no reason for me to hold it. But I'll buy back in when I see something happening. Standard, a lot of people do that. So that leads me to waking up one morning, finding out that Ben had rugged. By Ben, I don't mean Ben Armstrong. I mean Ben coin. Now, as you can see from the chart, just at one point, just somewhere along the way, it all just got removed and sold. And, that was it, so it's done. Now, flash forward, we're told Ben coin is dead. I ask specifically, is it actually dead? And I'm told, we're going to revive it at some point. Like it's going to be, but it's unfortunately, it's going to be down the road. And, in fairness here, I don't think that Ben could afford to maintain and manage it. And for those of you that have not run your own coin, meme coin, token, whatever, for those of you that haven't, it's expensive. If you want to get listed on exchange, it costs you in the neighborhood of 50,000 or more. And if something like Pepe, who, just has a huge amount of volume, you have to have a huge amount of volume in order for anything to happen. And Ben coin didn't have a huge amount of volume, despite the fact that Ben was there, because in the meantime, Ben's kind of spiraling out. So that leads us to Ben coin failing. And then I don't know about I'm going to quit if the end of 2025. That's, it's a lot of things that Ben said that along the way you might call into question. And that's fair enough. Like, that's fair enough. Part of the reason that I think in my opinion, part of the reason that BenCoin was so important was because of his relationship with Cassie. And that I think that the BenCoin scenario was, it was more important that he and Cassie were together, if you will. Like, I think this was kind of a driving force between them, for him, not for her. I don't know how she felt about it one way or another, but I think for him, this was just kind of a thing where, it was something for him and Cassie to do together. And look, you can not like the situation. You can, be mad at it because you're whatever deity whatever. You think that everybody, wants you forever and ever, amen. Whatever. Okay, that's you. That's you. For me, if the man's happy, I'm happy for him. I don't have a problem with his ex-wife, or I don't have a bad word about his ex-wife or anything to that effect. But if he's happy with Cassie, he's happy with Cassie. And to me, being happy matters a little bit more than following whatever book you follow. So, just know that I'm not, the way I look at it is different than probably the way you look at it. Okay. So in the meantime, I have been kind of on the sidelines, and I ignore most of this stuff. Okay. When things seem to spiral out of control and, wild stuff happen. Now, a couple months ago, I sent Ben a message. Do you want me to make another video or something like that? Kind of talking about it some more, because I sensed that there was a problem. He was struggling. I knew he was struggling. I knew something was going on. So I reached out to him and see if he wanted me to do a video, kind of talk about what's going on in court, stuff like that. He never responded, never got back to me. At some point, he sent me a message saying that he was keeping his circle tight. Now, keeping his circle tight was probably his way of telling me I'm not in his tight circle. So stop texting me, bro, or something like that. You know what I mean? So they didn't say that, but you get my point. Like when you have somebody who you think is your friend and they don't want to talk to you, they're not your friend, right? So I understood that. I understand that. But I still support Ben because I think that TJ is a fucking dirtbag that deserves every bad thing that comes to him. And I think that his seedy, dirty, philandering, disgusting wife who cheated on her husband with TJ is just as bad. I don't have a nice thing to say about either of them to this point. So that leads us to what's been happening the last bunch of days, and things have been spiraling out of control for Ben. We get some reports here that, Ben is struggling, that things are not looking great, that there are problems, just problems. Okay. That leads us to this. Ben comes out, been punched, right? What does Ben say? He got jumped while he was in a psych ward. Now, to be clear, he had been going back and people were looking for him for days, okay? I have maintained, and you guys have seen me on Justin's channel, J-Chains. You've seen me on J-Chains channel. I tried to be friends and friendly with AJ, but, AJ's got his own thing. I'm not part of his thing. Nothing like that. So, I say nice things, but then, as you guys might know, I'm not what you would call a raging liberal, but I'm also not a Donald Trump guy. And AJ is a dyed-in-the-wool Donald Trump guy. And he's saying stuff online that, to me, look, I voted for Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump because I believe that he's the best thing for crypto, and he's probably the best thing for the country, regardless of what I think personally about him. So I voted for Donald Trump. I'm supporting the current president and the administration. I don't like Elon Musk either, but I voted. So, but I'm not going to go out there and say nice things about somebody that I think is not a nice person. So I don't have nice stuff to say about either of them. AJ did. Sam, if you guys remember, we used to do a show together. It was me. It was Justin. It was Crypto Keeper, Nick. And by the way, I still talk to Nick. And then it was Sam, Crypto Lifer. And at one point, we were all kind of, like we were having conversations. We were setting up the show and stuff like that. We had a great show, or at least in my impression, we had a good show. Well, I turn around, because I must have said something that somebody didn't like, and I'm not being followed. And it was probably about vaccine, because Sam, Crypto Lifer, doesn't, he's an anti-vax sort of guy. Not anti-vax, but anti-COVID vaccine because he's gone through some struggles around his family life and his parents. And, I disagree with him, but I acknowledge that he's gone through some stuff. So anyway, during this whole process, some of these people who I thought were my friends, they're not my friends. They're just people I know from crypto. And, for full disclosure, and I've said this a couple of times now, and I might be beating a dead horse here, but I'm not a great friend. Okay. I'm not a great friend. I don't text you all the time. I don't, I don't talk. I'm in my own stuff most of the time, and I'm not the greatest of friends. I try to be, but I'm not. Now, let me pause this and say also that the reason that Ben and the reason I supported Ben to begin with was because I was on the old show, the blockchain show that they had for up and coming people. I was on for one show and then I never got invited back. And I asked Ben, why didn't I get invited back? Like, do they not like me? Is there, is there a problem or something like that? And there was a problem. It turns out that TJ, who's in charge of it, and he didn't like the fact that I was on Bencoin. He didn't like that. So he wasn't going to have me back. And also they wanted to be more diverse. So you saw people like Crypto Blood, who, by the way, nice guy, but I don't think he should be a prop for your show. Jenna X. Jenna X is my friend, okay? We don't talk a lot, but she is now a friend of mine. And guess what? They were having her on as well for diversity purposes. Just DEI BS, right? And look, I think that I'm better as an entertainer, something like that. So, and by the way, you have to have an ego so that kind of thing happens. But, I want Jenna to be on there every day. I want Crypto Blood to be on there every day. I just wanted to be in one of the windows, right? So I get a second opportunity. And in the meantime, during my second opportunity, we start talking about me coming on Ben's show. And that's how all of this for me got started. And I basically, this was for profit. Like I'm friendly with the guy whose company is being stolen from him. But at the end of the day, I think he was looking at me as somebody that he could bring along and maybe help out on my road to success. So I appreciate that out of Ben. Now, that being the case, we're not all, we're not all headed on the same path. So all of our paths have diverged. Okay. I still talk to Justin. In fact, I've done multiple shows on JChange's channel. At one point, we talked about doing a show every Monday. To be fair, I let me go back and say I'm not a good friend, so I don't know what happened with. I mean, I know what happened. What happened is I'm not a great communicator, so I can do that to you because you're right here on a camera, and I can monologue all day long. Right? When I get on a show like with Justin or with Vince Dragon Rider, when I get on shows, I talk a lot, I want people to hear my voice. So I don't think I'm a great guest or anything like that. If that makes sense. I hope that it makes sense anyway. So anyway, flashing forward here, Sam, Nick, Justin, myself, we started doing that show where, we just kind of debated topics and stuff like that. And, I thought I was going to be friends with Sam Price. Nope. Thought I was going to be friends with Ben Armstrong. Nope. Thought I was going to be. I'm still friendly with them, by the way. I'm not, no animosity or anything. But I thought that these were going to be my new friends. But also, I'm opportunistic. Like I hope that something good happens because what you're always told is hang out with people above your pay grade, if you will, that are super smart and super intelligent. And look, there's very few traders on par with Sam Price, Crypto Lifer. So he's a great person to know. Okay. Those are important things, right? So I'm just not a good friend. So things didn't work out and here we are. Well, now back to the story over here. I just want you guys to know that ultimately my motives are basically, I got to eat, I got to pay bills. So I got to do work to protect myself. I'm a fan of Ben. I'm a supporter of Ben. And I believe that Ben was robbed. So that's why I am still on Ben's side ultimately. But now let's talk about back to the whole Bencoin rug. Where did the liquidity go? Well, I had somebody reach out to me and they told me that, there was a team that did it. I can tell you this. since that point, I have not been able to talk to Ben about Bencoin. That doesn't mean he did anything or that he knew anything happened. But I really kind of wanted to have a conversation, and I never did. Because I'm a bad friend, I never really reached out either. I just left it in my brain that, I've seen too many people in this space rush to accuse people, and they look like, to me, an idiot, okay? So I sat on the sidelines and I just said, you know what? I'm going to take whatever Ben says as the gospel. To this point, I don't have any reason to think that Ben did anything wrong with Bencoin, to be fair, okay? But we didn't talk about it. We didn't have any conversation. And the conversations that I had early with Cassie about her conviction and stuff like that, I don't think that there was any possibility that it was going to happen, okay? Now, I would say that Ben's responsible for what happened to Bencoin because ultimately he is the person that's responsible. He took over as the CEO. He's responsible for what happens under his watch. So, from that perspective, I would say that he's responsible. I don't think he stole from, is basically what I'm saying. But I always had that question in my mind. Now, let's flash forward all the way up to, because we're 25 minutes in and oh my God, I'm wasting your time, okay? Let's talk about what's going on now. This video came out. This is Emergency BitBoy in Crisis, the last video you will ever see on this channel. Now, what does that mean? I don't know that it means anything, okay? So he has a conversation here. The conversation goes around to what was going on with his channel, covering how they decided that BitBoy was going to leave. And then we find out a little bit later, because AJ starts giving testimony, right? Where he explains that he was a full-time employee, that TJ sent him $5,000, that, he basically now realizes was a bribe. And the whole time I was very aware Ben had not relapsed on drugs because Ben doesn't take Ben's not smoking crack or something like that, right? So that happens. Then we flash forward to the other pieces here. When I asked TJ why they were forced to sell the Lamborghini, TJ told me that Carlos and his people don't fuck around, and if we don't pay them back, we could all be in danger. TJ, okay, now let's pause, because TJ went on Altcoin Daily and told you he didn't have anything to do with it. He lied to you and told you he didn't have anything to do with it. Now, I, in a video a couple days ago, started talking about Altcoin Daily, saying that I disagree with what they did, okay? That I think they should have been a better friend to Ben or something like that, okay? My opinion, this is my opinion about it. Now, they probably won't like what I'm about to do because it's private information, or it should be known to be private information, but I owe them an apology, so I'm going to apologize to them publicly right now, okay? We're 30 minutes into this conversation, so just know that I'm gonna link this as an apology, okay? This is the conversation that I had with them. As the HOCC, head of content creation, for Bencoin, it would surely help to have me on the show to give an outsider's perspective and to explain why I'm not deterred by the FUD around Ben Armstrong and what led me to this spot. Now, they said, okay, I'll keep you in mind. If we're interested in that, I'll reach out. Obviously, we're pretty accustomed to just having Ben on. That's probably what we would do. Now, this is the conversation where I'm talking about these guys need to have Ben on. Ben hasn't been on. He needs to be able to talk about what's going on, okay? He needs to be able to do that. And he hadn't been on. TJ's out here lying about it, okay? I don't trust Aaron or Austin. I don't know them to trust them. However, just so you guys understand, I lead off with trust until you give me a reason not to trust, okay? So now what I saw was them allowing TJ to lie. So I had a problem with that, okay? So now let me take you back to the conversation. Hey, what you said about us on your stream today, I would say is not accurate. You reached out to us for Bencoin specifically. You didn't really make that clear when describing the story. Now, to be honest with you, that wasn't what I was doing. But now that I look at, I look at this right here and I understand. And what I was trying to say was I was on Ben's team here and that I need to come on to kind of set the record straight about that piece of shit TJ, okay? But I didn't explain that the right way. Like I said, not a great monologue. fine communicating with people. I'm not good at it. Okay. So BitBoy had an open invite to come on our show from the beginning to tell his side of the story. He turned us down for weeks, but eventually we did record an interview with us weeks later to counter the TJ interview and share his side of the story. Now, I reached out to them in between that time, right? We gave BitBoy the last word and the ability to correct anything TJ said. Plus, we did a lot more for Ben even beyond that during the tumultuous time, just for the record. So I said, I'll update it and say that you reached out. Now, that was on February 12th. This is February 20th. So just so you guys know, I'm late doing that. It's cool. No need to make us a big part of the content with stuff like this. But if you do speak about it again, then I would appreciate a more fair recollection. We're wishing Ben the best. Appreciate you believes. Okay. But and I told them, I'll be discreet about it because I like to say things like I'm always right and, shit like that, just to kind of lean into whatever character I'm playing, believes crypto. So Altcoin Daily, you're right. I apologize to you guys. I should be more fair about how I think you guys are. I think that you guys do a fantastic job for the crypto community. It creeps me out that you're twins, but that's not your fault. I'll hold your parents accountable for that. And I'm just kidding. I told you I'm going to be funny about it. Don't get all twinny on me, okay? So my bad. I apologize. You did give Ben the last word. And again, I was frustrated because I wanted to defend Ben kind of right away. So Altcoin Daily, my bad, but you're still twin. So now let's move on from there. So we've covered that. You guys see the conversation, okay? Now, let's move back into this, which is when I asked TJ why he lied about Ben relapsing on drugs, he told me that it was a lie that the audience would understand without having to tell them the real story. It became unbearable to work at Hit Networkers because no one knew the real story. Everyone was lying to each other, and it was a toxic place to be. So that's why AJ left. Now, to be clear, AJ left, and Justin, J-Chains, had already left because he got in a fight with Ben. Now, the guy that got into a fist fight with Ben then told me after the fist fight, he was like, look, we're just two friends who didn't get along. You know what I mean? So as soon as he was out of Hit Network, I came back. Why was I not at Hit Network? Why did I quit and never go back when Ben was not there? Because every bad thing you think TJ is, every bad thing you think Nick Diamandi is, they are. And Justin knew that. I'm not going to get too much into that, but that's really what it came down to. That he thought they were a bunch of scumbags too. He'll just never say it because he's better. So that leads us to the rest of this conversation. Now, the rest of this conversation is Ben reveals that he has some kind of personality disorder. And let's do this right here. Carlos has a conversation with Cassie. It's recorded where Carlos admits that he knows that Ben is not on drugs. Also, there's a text message exchange. I'm going to encourage you guys to go watch this, okay? And the one thing that they say is, maybe it's the steroids, brother. Talking to your uncle today, he feels that's the best thing too. He wanted me and him to pick you up from the airport. He thinks you need some time off. This guy just can't spell for shit. So that's okay. I've been under a lot of stress, brother. This Ben coin is a lot on your plate. I think it could be a good way to get under that as well. So then Ben goes on to describe histrionic personality disorder, which is what he has. And there's 10 things: craving attention, dramatic emotions, rapid mood swings, shallow connections. I'm a shallow connector. Easily influenced, which is probably true. I don't know. You go through there. There's like 10 different things that are part of it. So then Ben goes on to his monologue where he talks about, as you go through this, you find Ben then saying also that, this is, he's going to be refocused on educating and stuff like that. So Ben is going through some stuff still. Ben is dealing with himself, his own worst enemy, if you will, at this point. Ben Armstrong is Ben Armstrong's own worst enemy. It's not anybody else. So hopefully he's going to get both the help that he needs and the opportunities that he should get. So I just want to, because, look, I've been a part of this since the beginning. So I wanted to kind of give you what was going on here, what I was seeing, my perspective, why I do what I do, why I think what I think. And by the way, let me also point out, these are the comments on my video about Ben, where I was talking about Ben when Ben kind of disappeared the other day. And I got, the standard, Ben is crazy, you should stay away from him. but you promoted a scam coin. Again, I'm not going to say that Ben scammed anybody. I'm not going to say anything about that, but I did promote Bencoin, which, you know, BTC Carnivore. Now, listen, I saw somebody named BTC Carnivore on Twitter, and I don't think it's a coincidence of how XRP is a scam and that the only real true crypto is Bitcoin. You know, that kind of shit. That's stupid stuff. And then, the old I got hacked. I don't know what that's about. Might be me telling people that I got hacked, or I don't know if they're talking about Ben having been hacked. Then this says, I thought Ben owned 60% of the company. What happened? We've already been over that, so we won't go over that anymore. But then I've got, oh my God, dude, you're on the wrong side of history. You basically helped pump and dump Bencoin. You know what I mean? This guy said, okay, I'm here to point out lies and BS. And this is ISO W, by the way. Just a hater who's been hating since the beginning, with reason, by the way. He was he got this, everyone who was on Ben, they rugged us. Well, and Ben is up over 3,000%. I don't know what's going on with that, but you know what I mean. And then somebody says Cope Harder. I bet you own Hex too. You know what I mean. They scammed us the end. You know, and by the way, I did give you guys the update that they AirTag followed them and stuff like that. So going through this, there was a lot, there was a lot of conversation that I don't like being. I'm not always successful at every crypto project, but I do promotion. That's really my job. That's what I do. Promotion. Sometimes I promote a project and the project is fantastic in my opinion. Sometimes the problem is it's not fantastic. Sometimes it doesn't. You know, sometimes it doesn't go right. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes there's an issue, a concern, a problem, you know, something, right? So, let me give you an example. About a week ago, I told you how much SWP was pumping, right? Made a video today about the pump. SWP, I asked everybody, you know, look, get in at 0.002. It was up to 2 cents. So it was an easy 10x for anybody who got in, right? If you sold the top, I'm a genius. I gave you a 10x. If you held the bag and round tripped it, by the way, it didn't round trip. It's actually up to like 1.5 cents right now. So it's still doing really, really good. But if you get my point here, you know, sometimes that happens. SWP comes out, fantastic. Fantastic pump happens. They're doing some of the right things to make things happen. And then boom, it goes absolutely out of its mind. Okay. Then this one pops up, right? And I have to delete it right away because I get something from whoever owns that IP and says, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Now, I did not know. I learned that, you know, that's what it is. And sometimes these things don't make me comfortable. So I want you guys to know that there will be promos sometimes and they're not all going to be winners, but they're not all rug pulls and scams and, you know, whatever crybaby shit you make up in your mind to justify why you suck as an investor. That's what I meant to say. Okay. Whatever that dumb thing is that you say to yourself that it's everybody else's fault, that's exactly what I was saying. You got it. Okay. Really, you just suck at investing money. Okay. I provide entertainment for you. I hope you're entertained. If you are not entertained by it, don't watch. It's okay. If you are coming to me for financial advice, that's wild, and you should not do that because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not qualified to give you financial advice. I'm not qualified to tell you what you should do with your money. I am qualified. By the way, having just said this, I'm going to SWP over here and I'm telling you about SWP, which gave you a 10x. I got a 10x off of it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing and what I think of something. Don't use it as financial advice. Use it as a stepping stone to do your own research and figure out for yourself if this is the project for you. That's pretty simple, right? So to summarize up to this point, I suck as a friend. I guess that's the only summary. I suck as a friend. So guys, listen, I want you to, I would ask that you let this play out, see how this works out. I still maintain, despite the fact that I'm clearly not friends with Ben, I'm friendly with Ben. Okay, since that much should be blatantly obvious at this point to me, if nobody else, that he get an opportunity to try to, in many ways, sort of redeem himself for who he's been for a while. That's been a thing for him. Go watch the video, by the way. Don't take my word for any of this. Go watch the video for yourself and make a decision for yourself. But I would encourage you to really just go check all this stuff out. If you're interested, if you're really interested, I'm not going to put any links in here. You can go find it yourself. Go to my channel and pull up Ben Armstrong. Go look for videos I did on Ben Armstrong. You can find out everything you need to know. If you want to know about the court case, you can go to my videos for the court case. I don't have current information about it because instead of doing those videos for what's been happening lately, again, Ben went silent. Ben doesn't want to talk to me about it. Fair enough. Who gives a shit? But again, I encourage you to go check it out and figure out for yourself. Decide for yourself what's going on, whether you like or don't like, and make your decision based on that. For me, this is very simple for me. Ben Armstrong became a partner with a dirtbag, and that dirtbag stole from him. And that dirtbag pretended that he wasn't stealing from him, and he pretended he wasn't doing it because he just didn't like Ben Armstrong. And the Civil War veteran that worked for him and made excuses for him didn't like Ben Armstrong. If you don't believe me, go to JChain's channel the next time they have a live and say, hey man, tell me about your interactions with Nick Diamandi, and just see what he has to say so that I'm not the one saying the crazy stuff. You know what I mean? So that's it, guys. Look, I don't know. It annoys me. Okay. It annoys me. Not the Ben part, the Ben coin part. That annoys me because even though I consider myself an entertainer, I know that some people take me way more serious than maybe they should. And because of that, I feel responsible anytime a project doesn't do well. Also, in this market, 90%, 95% of everybody get wrecked, okay? I have conviction plays. I have, things that I believe in that I share with you a lot, but this market is struggling right now despite where it is. Altcoins specifically are struggling. Here's the thing. They're not going to continue the struggle. They're going to break out. And you know who's going to lead you to all that? Probably Ben Armstrong, probably Altcoin Daily, probably all of these people. So, and maybe me, maybe me, maybe you like this video and you'll subscribe to the channel. Maybe you don't, you won't, whatever. I'm just giving you my opinion about what's going on with Ben right now. I would encourage you, if you can, if you are willing to, if you want to, support Ben. I think needs it. I think he needs, I don't know that he needs friends or anything like that. I mean, again, like I told you before, like I'm clearly he and I are not friends. I can't, go to whatever. He and I are not as friendly as I thought we were, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't need people like you or me to be supportive of whatever it is that he does next. So if you would, go subscribe to his new channel if he has a new one. Go pay attention to his old channel if you want to. Whatever it is, be supportive and second guess what the dum-dums are saying on, because those dum-dums, I call them dum-dums for a reason. And the reason is because they're dum-dum, okay? They're dum-dum. That's all I got, all right? I know I talked your head off. I know I talked your ear off. If you watched it all the way to the end, leave a comment down below letting me know that you did. I don't believe that anybody will. But if you did, let me know. It's not financial advice. I'm always right.